Hello and welcome to Total Football Analysis. In this video we are going to take a closer look at the Bundesliga top match between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich. Despite Dortmund usually playing in a 3-4-3 system, Favre preferred a 4-2-3-1 formation against Bayern. With a focus on defensive solidity, the Swiss coach chose a double pivot consisting of Witsel and Thomas Delaney over Mo Dahoud and Jude Bellingham. As expected, Bayern Munich lined up in their signature 4-2-3-1 system, with Hernandez playing as the left back due to Alphonso Davies' injury and Sarr playing as the right back. Bayern slightly adjusted their attacking movements, which we will explain at a later stage. When pressing, either of the three attacking midfielders from their 4-2-3-1, mostly Müller, moved next to striker Lewandowski to form a 4-4-2 as displayed here. Contrary to most of their games this season though, Flick's team did not press from the very first pass on, but rather waited for a pass out wide in order to press Dortmund's fullbacks. Bayern's attackers were extremely good at utilizing their cover shadows to prevent Dortmund's double pivot to receive. Together with a double pivot and the wingers positioned in the half spaces, they caged Dortmund's central midfielders. When the ball was played out to the fullback, Bayern's double pivot shifted towards the ball side, while the ball near striker closed down the back pass option to the center back. The shifting movement of the Bayern squad opened up space in the ball far half space because Bayern's ball far winger did not tuck in very much. Here Dortmund can progress up the pitch by playing into the half space after they won a second ball in midfield. However, getting into this area of the pitch with short pass combination play seemed too difficult as Bayern always put pressure on the ball carrier and used their cover shadows very well. In case Dortmund were unable to outplay the press, they searched for Haaland, who often acted as the target player, to receive chipped balls and lay them off to Dortmund's midfielders. Dortmund also tried to exploit Bayern's high backline with long diagonal balls. In this case, right back Meunier successfully plays a diagonal ball behind Bayern's defense to left winger Reina. However, in most of the other cases, goalkeeper Manuel Neuer was able to recognize these moments early enough to clear the balls even outside of the penalty area. A weakness of Bayern's pressing setup that Dortmund only rarely exploited was their lack of numbers in the center. In a counter-pressing situation, Dortmund could press Bayern's double pivot with the inside wingers, playmaker Reus and the double pivot to regain possession and create an attack from there. In this instance, Dortmund could win a loose ball duel again, which allowed them to attack with numbers. But Bayern do well to force Dortmund to play out wide, and left back Hernandez can block Meunier's crossing attempt. In the beginning of the game, Dortmund situationally tried to press from the front. In order to press both center backs, Dortmund also created a 4-4-2 structure. However, with the attackers focusing on Bayern's central defenders and the wingers closing down the opposition fullbacks, Dortmund's double pivot had to move closer to Bayern's central midfielders in order to press them once they received the ball. That opened up space between midfield and defense that Bayern utilized, with either Müller or Lewandowski dropping. Furthermore, when Favre's side attempted to put pressure on Boateng and Alaba, and Bayern could not play to Kimmich or Goretzka, they dropped deep in order to create a numerical advantage against Dortmund's striking duo or to drag out a central midfielder, which would then open up space in midfield. Here Goretzka is positioned between the center backs, and Kimmich becomes an available passing option in midfield. With right back Sarr positioned rather deep, the dropping movement of Goretzka even creates a back four again, and Alaba, as the new left back on this occasion, can support the attack on the wing. But the attacking movements from Bayern's defenders also meant that they had to defend counterattacks with only few players. In this situation, right back Sarr needs to shift towards the ball, which creates space on the far side for Reina, and playmaker Müller has to track back the Dortmund winger due to their rotational movements during the attacking phase. Flick's side were lucky that Dortmund missed to score from such opportunities. Another Dortmund counterattack led to the injury of Kimmich, who tried to commit a tactical foul. After that, Bayern seemed more disorganized in the defense. Dortmund exploited this and scored from a cross to Marco Reus, who remained unmarked centrally in the penalty area. Kimmich's replacement Tolisso moved out, while Goretzka and the whole backline failed to mark Reus in the box. Despite their situational high press in the beginning of the game, Favre's team used a mid-block with the same 4-4-2 structure most of the time when defending. They then tried to guide Bayern's build-up towards either of the fullbacks, where they pressed with their respective winger, while the double pivot made sure to close ball near passing options in the center. In possession, Bayern often committed one fullback to the attack. With a focus on attacking on the left side, left back Hernandez often moved up the pitch. However, Hernandez did not stay near the touchline, but drifted into the half space. Their setup even resembled Bayern's strategy under Guardiola, with inverted fullbacks to create 1 vs 1 situations for the wingers. However, Dortmund's ball-near winger defended rather deep, in order to avoid the fullback to be caught in a 1v1. And since the back four remained compact with the fullback often staying within the half space, together with a double pivot, they could prevent Bayern from playing into their attacking players, occupying the red zone most of the times. In a moment of missing compactness though, Hernandez could play into the red zone from the left half space, leading to a free kick situation that Alaba used to score the equalizer right before halftime. Bayern were able to create most of their chances through wing play. Using more and more switches of play in the second half, Bayern could penetrate Dortmund's defense in wide areas. As Dortmund's respective ball-near central midfielder was supposed to support on the wing, the distance to cover was huge when Bayern switched sides. As a consequence, Flick's team regularly created equal numbers on the flanks. Therefore, it was not a huge surprise that Bayern's second goal came from a cross. Dortmund were incapable of outnumbering Bayern's wide players on the flank. In a 2v2 situation, left-back Hernandez could put in a cross. Lewandowski, who posed a constant threat within the box, got in front of centre-back Hummels with a well-timed run, using his advantage of action. The Polish striker headed the ball into the net to make it 2-1 for Bayern. Since the Bayern pressing lost intensity and Dortmund used a more and more fluid attacking approach with substitute Julian Brandt trying to create a numerical advantage in the centre, Dortmund could outplay Bayern's defensive block more often. This led to opportunities as displayed here, but Dortmund could not score from these situations. Moreover, Dortmund's willingness to commit more players forward also opened up counter-attacking opportunities for Bayern. One of them was utilized by substitute Leroy Sané, scoring the third Bayern goal. Even though their improved attacking fluidity enabled Dortmund to score their second goal of the day, Bayern held the upper hand, winning the game 3-2. All in all, both teams used similar strategies, and with both of them aiming at actively pressing the opponent, the match became chaotic at times and therewith provided promising attacking opportunities for either side. In the end of a relatively even match, Bayern won thanks to a better efficiency in front of the goal. Although Favre's team even created a higher expected goals value, Flick's team won the game with 3-2 and therefore remain at the top of the Bundesliga table. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and also check out the other videos on our channel. And if you don't want to miss any of our videos, subscribe to our channel for free.